then I did the thing with the video, and then I had to just kind of stay silent for a few months. I went.
Hello, WWE world. This is Wrestle Talk Reality, back with the hottest wrestling updates. Subscribe now and let's break it down. AEW Collision set the wrestling world ablaze this week with one of its most intense and emotional segments yet. Tensions reached a boiling point as Don Callis, alongside his cunning new ally Kyle Fletcher, tried to strike a deal with the fearsome Death Riders, Jon Moxley, PAC, and Claudio Castagnoli. But what began as a manipulative power play quickly unraveled into chaos, defiance, and a silent challenge that could reshape the TNT Championship picture. The air was thick with anticipation, and as the dust settled, fans realized they had just witnessed the spark of AEW's next big war. AEW Collision erupts. Don Callis, the Death Riders, and a brewing TNT title war AEW Collision just took the wrestling world by storm with a segment that left fans buzzing and speculation running wild. The energy in the arena was electric as tensions between Don Callis, his new ally Kyle Fletcher, and the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, PAC, and Claudio Castagnoli, hit a boiling point. What started as a tense verbal exchange has now evolved into the potential setup for one of the most intense feuds of the year. Let's dive deep into what went down, the meaning behind every move, and what this could mean for the TNT Championship and the landscape of AEW moving forward. Welcome back to Suplex Saga, your home for everything AEW and WWE, from explosive storylines to exclusive backstage whispers. The confrontation that set the stage, the night kicked off with a buzz already in the air following the aftermath of AEW Dynamite. Fans were still talking about the chaos from Blood and Guts, where the Death Riders made their presence felt in the most dominant way possible. As the trio made their way to the ring on Collision, the crowd erupted. The Death Riders, each representing a different style of violence and discipline, stood tall, sending a message that they weren't here to play games. Then came Don Callis, the self-proclaimed mastermind of AEW manipulation, strolling down the ramp with his ever-present smirk. Behind him was the reigning TNT champion, Kyle Fletcher, now aligned with the Callis family. The reaction from the crowd was a mix of boos and curiosity. No one knew what Callis was planning, but everyone knew it wouldn't be good. Callis took the mic, delivering one of his trademark monologues filled with arrogance and venom. He began by thanking the Death Riders for what they did to Mark Briscoe after Blood and Guts, claiming they made him irrelevant. It was a moment that instantly drew heat from the audience. Moxley's cold rejection and Pac's warning. The mood shifted when Pac stepped forward, his piercing stare cutting through Callis's words. With one line, "We're done playing games," Pac made it clear that the Death Riders were not interested in aligning with anyone, especially a manipulator like Don Callis. His tone carried weight, and the crowd erupted in approval. It was the kind of declaration that made fans remember why Pac is one of AEW's most intense competitors. Callis, trying to regain control, quickly changed his approach. He offered the Death Riders power, money, and opportunities, the usual temptations he dangles in front of wrestlers to lure them into his schemes. But Jon Moxley, the heart and soul of the Death Riders, wasn't buying any of it. With his trademark raw intensity, Moxley stepped right up to Callis, looked him dead in the eye, and delivered a line that sent chills across the arena. Claudio Castagnoli's silent challenge. Just when it seemed the segment was over, the camera lingered. Claudio Castagnoli stopped, turned back, and locked eyes with Kyle Fletcher. It wasn't just a stare, it was a declaration. Fletcher, clutching his TNT championship close to his chest, met Claudio's gaze with a smirk. The visual said everything. The seeds of a new rivalry had just been planted. The tension in that moment was palpable. Claudio, known for his silent intensity, doesn't need words to make a statement. His eyes told a story. A man who has dominated every ring he stepped into now sees his next target. Fletcher's arrogance, amplified by his association with Don Callis, makes him the perfect foil for Claudio's discipline and strength. The TNT title picture and what's next. Kyle Fletcher's reign as TNT champion has been controversial from the start. Aligning himself with Don Callis gave him power, but also painted a target on his back. Fletcher's arrogance and willingness to manipulate his way through matches have made him one of AEW's most despised champions in recent memory. But love him or hate him, no one can deny his talent. His blend of agility, precision, and aggression makes him a dangerous competitor. The Death Riders versus the Callis family. But there's a bigger picture forming beyond the TNT title. The moment Callis tried to manipulate the Death Riders, he lit a fire that won't burn out easily. Patsy's warning, Moxley's defiance, and Claudio's challenge are signs of a brewing faction war. The Death Riders are a unit built on mutual respect and shared chaos, while the Callis family thrives on manipulation and opportunism. If AEW continues to build this feud, fans could be looking at an all-out war between two of the company's most compelling groups. Imagine Moxley and PAC going after Fletcher and Takeshita, while Claudio hunts down Fletcher for the TNT Championship. The storytelling potential is enormous. Every match would have layers of emotion and history, revenge, pride, and loyalty all colliding in the ring. Fan reactions and online buzz. The wrestling community is already ablaze with speculation. Social media exploded after Collision, with fans debating what Claudio's stare meant and whether AEW is officially building toward a TNT title feud. Some are even predicting that this storyline could stretch into 2026, leading to a massive faction versus faction battle that could redefine AEW's power structure. Many fans are thrilled at the idea of Claudio Castagnoli finally getting a major singles run again. Since joining AEW, Claudio has reminded everyone why he's one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. A TNT title run would not only solidify his position, but also give the Death Riders a new sense of purpose as a faction. Meanwhile, others are excited to see Kyle Fletcher getting this level of spotlight. His partnership with Don Callis gives him character depth and allows him to grow as a performer. If AEW lets this feud breathe, it could elevate both men and the TNT title to new heights. The road ahead for AEW Collision. As AEW Collision continues to carve out its identity, stories like this are exactly what the show needs. It's gritty, unpredictable, and filled with emotional weight. The Death Riders bring that aura of danger wherever they go, and Don Callis' involvement adds a layer of manipulation that keeps fans guessing. The next few weeks will be crucial. Will Claudio officially challenge Fletcher for the TNT title? Will Don Callis retaliate by sending the rest of his family after the Death Riders? And will Moxley and Paki continue to back Claudio, turning this into a full-scale faction? Well, one thing's certain, AEW Collision has become must-watch television. Every interaction between these men feels like a powder keg waiting to explode. The storylines are intertwining, the rivalries are heating up, and the stakes couldn't be higher.